Okay, so welcome everybody. This is Recovery Conversations with Sarah and Sophie. We're talking to you from our own homes, but on behalf of the Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust Recovery College. And today we'll be talking to you about living alongside a mental health problem during this difficult time. And we're talking particularly about living with OCD and anxiety and paranoia. So I'm Sarah. I'm a staff tutor in the Recovery College, which means I have learned experience of mental health and recovery, and I've been working in mental health for some years now. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Sophie. Sophie.
Hi, I'm Sophie and I'm a Recovery College peer tutor. Previously, I worked as a senior carer in the adult care sector. I'm a mum of two and I live alongside mental illness. I am 12 months into my recovery journey and have recently been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. I live alongside hearing voices, paranoia, psychosis, anxiety, PTSD and OCD.
Okay, that's a lot to contend with, Sophie. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Now, you said you were a peer tutor, but not everybody will know what a peer tutor is. Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, of course. A peer tutor works alongside the Recovery College tutors and college team. As a peer tutor, I offer the lived experience of mental health. I can share the impact of my mental health and what I've tried to gain control of my symptoms and act as an advocate that you are not alone and there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, that's brilliant. Our peers do so much good work for us in the Trust, and we're always absolutely delighted to have you with us. Okay, so Sophie, can you tell me though, what impact has the lockdown had on your daily and family life?
So for me personally, social distancing hasn't been hard, as it was a part of my condition anyway before this difficult time. However, not being able to leave my home and not being able to come to Recovery College has been really difficult, as this was my routine. It's what got me through my week. And routine has been a massive part of my recovery journey so far.
So what's that meant then for the symptoms that you experience?
Well, my symptoms have certainly been heightened at this time. My OCD tendencies have been tested. The need to clean more than I was is a daily battle. When I'm able to leave my home, my voices are really loud, louder than they are usually. Their words really push on my anxiety and paranoia, which then can make my OCD really harder to contain. So I've created myself a new routine. As I mentioned before, routine was a big part of my recovery, and this consists of timed waking, sleeping and rest, set meal times, time for homeschooling with the children. And I've also really tried to keep a limited amount of time for cleaning, as this, can spiral out of control. And I also have put into my daily routine a time for reflection, which sometimes involves journaling, listening to music, just so that I can reflect back on the day. Is there anything that I may have triggered throughout the day, something I can work on for tomorrow? And I've also created a care plan for the days and times when my mental health symptoms are heightened. My plan personally involves arts and crafts, treats, meditation, everything that really sort of lifts my mood and refocuses my mind.
Sounds like you've put a lot of thought into what you need to do to keep yourself well with that. And I really like that idea of a bit of reflective time for yourself. That sounds really, really good. I'm just curious though, you've mentioned that this routine is really helpful, but as we know, things happen in life to kind of get in the way of our routine. So how do you deal with it when your routine gets interrupted?
Yeah, of course, certainly, especially having children at home, it can easily get affected. So for me, I have written out my daily plan for the week, and I also have a section on my plan where if something gets affected, my routine's sort of knocked off a little bit, I can go to that and pick something from it that can stabilize myself again. OCD coping mechanisms that work for me personally, and it, like big thing for me is sitting, meditating, thinking about what's maybe gone wrong, how I'm feeling, so I can refocus and sort of reestablish myself and then carry on with my day.
That sounds really like a really good way to reflect on your own situation and kind of take a little bit of control back, even when things feel a little bit out of control.
Absolutely. And it allows me to take a breather, you know, quite quickly during a day. If things aren't going right, things can spiral, they can get quicker, and your thoughts might get quicker. So for me to take that 5 minutes to myself, just to slow my mind, slow things down, and then regain control is wonderful.
Oh, that sounds really good. So have you noticed things like you said, the amount of cleaning that you feel like you needed to do, has that gone up significantly at the moment?
Absolutely, especially at the beginning of the lockdown, as I'm sure everybody was feeling. It was a massive need to clean, to organise, the children, everything. And right at the beginning, that was really hard to re-establish a new routine. Now it's better. And like I've mentioned, I try to keep it contained, the timing. I don't allow myself to do more. And if I do slip up and I do a bit more cleaning and I've worn myself out, I go back to my care plan. I look at it, calm myself, find something to do, and arts and crafts, keep my hands busy and slow myself down.
My sense is that's probably something that's really useful, finding something else to do with your hands when they want to be doing some of your compulsive behaviours, kind of diverting them into doing something else.
Yeah, completely. I mean, for me, personally, my OCD does actually affect my hands. I have sort of runaway thoughts, and then I end up having to play with my hands and play with my fingers, and they can get sore. So for me, being able to knit or to draw is absolutely, like, it's brilliant. It keeps my hands busy. I'm doing something quite positive. I have something at the end of it as well. You know, if I've done a drawing, I can look back at it. And these things that I do, I keep together so that I can go through my recovery journey, looking at the things that I've created and put a positive to maybe some negative symptoms.
That feel really proud of what you've accomplished. Yeah,
completely, absolutely. I mean, I like to colour as well, so I've got a massive book of colourings that I've done. I like to look back at them and think, that's me, that's my recovery journey.
Yeah, I did that. So Sophie, you also mentioned that you get psychotic symptoms. So have you noticed a change in that with this new situation?
Yeah. My psychotic symptoms are quite a big part of my everyday sort of life, really. And again, with the public news and the things that we get about the virus and everything, that obviously made them quite loud, you know, made me feel unsafe, and you know, but the way, again, that I've personally coped is to write down at the end of my day what they may have said, so I can reflect back on what they've said. You know, sometimes they're actually expressing, maybe in a negative way, the concerns and worries that I have. So if I write down what they're saying, I can look at what they've said and think, oh, okay, it's just a heightened voice of my internal voice of how I'm feeling. I want to protect my children. I don't want them to be unsafe and things to be clean and things like that. So for me, to get on top of my psychosis and my voices is to make sure that I'm listening to them. I'm not ignoring them. I'm listening to them, giving them a little bit of time every day just to think, yeah, okay, I've listened to you. Now we're going to move on.
It sounds like you've developed a much friendlier relationship with your voices, rather than kind of being afraid of them or battling against them. You just kind of, we've all got to rub along together here kind of attitude. And is that how it is?
Absolutely, completely. But right at the beginning of my journey, you know, you very much, you don't want to be their friend. You don't want to listen to them. You try to shut them out. And actually that heightened the way I felt. You know, my mood was very low, and it didn't make them quieter, it actually made them louder. So with work and different techniques, I've been able to actually make friends with my voices. I listen to them, I don't ignore them, and I give them time every day just to say what they need to, or I'll write down what they've said. And so building a friendship and building an understanding with my voices has been a massive benefit. I'm able to live my life alongside them and it be contained and manageable.
Wow. That sounds like you've found a really great way to live alongside those voices rather than let them run your life for you.
Yes, completely.
Yeah. Okay, so Sophie, do you have a message for anybody else who might be struggling with psychosis or OCD symptoms?
Yeah, my biggest message is to everyone is you're not alone. What you're feeling and experiencing right now is normal reaction to abnormal times. The biggest thing I've learned on my journey is to reach out and not to suffer in isolation. A great man taught me, if you had 100 people lined up and you put to them your problems or how you're feeling, your concerns, how many people would relate, feel the same as you, share the same reaction? The majority would. This shows me, and hopefully everyone out there, that you're not standing alone in your thoughts and how you're feeling. It's not I, it's we.
That's wonderful, Sophie. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us today. We really value all the lived experience that you and the other peers bring into our recovery college. So thank you.
You're welcome.